Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor podcast, episode 41, LMGs. I'm your host, Dr. Anton, and with me is the other host, DJ Spencer.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, and we're going to be talking about light machine guns. They got
Well,
a huge...
technically, they're not all light, right?
Well, yeah, but that's the the machine gun
It's
category.
yeah.
So, but they're called, aren't they called LMGs, or are they just called MGs?
But see, that LMGs to me was always light machine guns, but maybe I just have it wrong.
I'm not sure, because it could, like, even if it's heavy, like, I think it's still because isn't there like something even heavier? Like when you talk about machine guns, there's like, I'm thinking the mounted ones, like the old style mounted machine guns that
Like on a
you
turret.
couldn't carry around, right?
Okay. I have no
I don't
idea,
know.
to be honest.
I'm not
I'm
sure
not a
either.
weapons expert, so
No, neither am I. And in Vigor, I think they're just called machine guns, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah. So machine guns. That's what we're talking about. This new season, they got a boost. They messed around with their firing mechanics, their recoil, and so we thought this would be a good time to do a focus just on
yeah.
machine guns.
Yeah.
As always, please like, share, subscribe. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Get that out there now.
And I don't know. I've been kind of keeping Doc praised, but the last podcast episode, it looks like we got picked up by YouTube's algorithm and got put onto a bunch of playlists, and our views just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, it was like 1.7 thousand or 1.7K views, so 1,700 views,
Wow.
roughly.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
It was crazy. So
now a lot of those are like less than 5 minutes, but it averages out because there's a lot of, there's people who watch the full hour and 45-minute episode. And then you got a bunch that click through it and maybe they don't watch the whole thing, or they watch bits and pieces. But
yeah,
it's still cool. It's really cool that it's getting a bit more exposure.
Yeah, it's more about getting picked up by the YouTube algorithm. That's important, right? Because it means the podcast is getting out there and it's reaching a broader audience. So
yeah, so people who are just looking at general Vigor clips who may not know about us will all of a sudden maybe start seeing us, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the game itself.
And the game. Yeah, people looking at other games that are similar to Vigor, maybe it'll help, push them towards Vigor a bit more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so machine guns, yeah, they've got the new firing and recoil mechanics that were introduced with the L85. And then have been, like, last season, were applied to rifles. And, it was really noticeable, especially with rifles like the SKS. Got a huge boost in usability because of it. And to tell the truth, I flip around with guns a lot, so I don't know if I really noticed it with all. I didn't do a lot with rifles, other than when SKS got a bit of a boost, I used it a bit. But so we may have to do an episode like this for rifles in the future. We'll have to do all these different categories.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to do these kind of episodes too, because I hadn't used a bunch of like the machine guns in some time, so it was actually cool. But the SKS I had used a bunch at the start, but honestly, like, to me, VZ52, like, if you're going to use an SKS, you might as well just go up to the beefier VZ52, which also got a buff.
Yep.
And if you look at the higher end of the spectrum too, like, some of them actually got a little bit of a nerf with the changes, where like the SVD and the SVU weren't as good. Like, they're still good, but not as good. But anyways.
True. Yeah. So we'll focus on those in the future. We figured right now the big topic is machine guns because of this. So we figured, and before this, I never really touched machine guns unless I had a challenge to use it. If I had a challenge get so many machine gun kills, that's the only time I took machine guns out. So it was kind of cool to go through all of them.
And same with me. Like, I would run the M249 occasionally, But
Yeah.
aside from that, unless someone had a choose your loadout type of challenge on my channel, I wasn't taking it out.
Or
But
if it was a loadout in a limbs, because
oh yeah, for your
that's
challenge, yes,
yeah, like if we're not
yeah.
even just for my
Oh yeah,
challenge, but for a limbs in
yeah,
general. You're playing a limbs, you got stuck with
yes,
the Maschinengewehr and the Scharfschützengewehr, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
these aren't great, but what can you do?
yeah.
And
You
maybe
roll
in
with the
shootout,
punches.
yeah, I think sometimes in shootout you would start with like the M60, even the
Yeah.
Maschinengewehr on occasion. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Because when they reworked Shootout, that's when the machine guns were really in there. Like it seemed like I was starting off with the M60E3 all the time, but
yeah, yeah,
or 3E, I should
and
say. But yeah,
and it wasn't bad. Like it was one of the better ones before these changes. Like at least in shootout. Like when I was using it in shootout, it wasn't great. Don't get me wrong, but I could do all right with it. Like with in shootout, running around trying to get people with it. I could do okay. Um, but
I
it definitely
yeah,
isn't like it is now.
I'm definitely not a fan. I was not a fan of it back then, and I'm still
Yeah,
not.
I
But
wasn't taking it
uh,
outside of shootout. Yeah,
honestly, if you get a machine gun right now in Shootout, it is insane how well you can do with it because
yeah,
you have a ton of ammo and they're so good right now. So, anyways,
yeah. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we'll go to our side by our top down mode, and we'll show you. We're gonna show up, bring each gun up. We're gonna start with the uncommons and work our way down to the new special issue. We'll show the stats for the gun, just in game stats. Talk a little about it, and then we'll show some clips. So I went through with each weapon, went into the shooting range, and did a little bit of just a little shooting range clip for each weapon. But then where we could is mostly DJ. DJ got us a lot of clips out of encounters. That was great.
I had
So
fun.
we yeah, he did. You see some guns had more clips than others.
Yeah.
So we'll show
Yep.
those we'll show some clips as well. Some of these clips are direct from Xbox, so they'll load pretty quick. But then some of these are also from DJ's channel. So when we get to those clips, you'll see there's a little bit of a loading time. It's not too bad, but FYI, that's just
Yeah.
why there's a little bit of a loading time is because those are the Twitch clips. So,
Yep.
but yeah, let's get into it. So, um, first off, we have the Maschinengewehr, something like that. Yeah,
Yep.
3. So,
Yes.
um, it's a heavy. So it's interesting. These first couple start out they're heavies. So like that means they weigh extra. Um, you won't notice it at first. Like when you go into an encounter with it with some ammo, your stamina bar won't take a hit yet, but it doesn't take much. You start loading up,
No.
then your stamina bar just goes down quick because it's a heavy machine gun. Yeah,
Oh
and it
yeah.
may affect your running a little bit. I don't know how that. I never really did any trials, running with one versus the other.
Hmm.
Um, Base damage 41. Rate of fire. This one has a huge rate of fire, 1200.
Yeah.
Um, Effective range of 850, and that's in meters. Uh, each clip has a capacity of 101 rounds or 100 rounds. It's 101 with no, it's 101 rounds. Yeah.
Yep.
And then when they say weight, it's 13. I'm going to assume kilograms. That's
Yep.
because they tend to do everything in metric,
Yep.
but it doesn't actually say. So
It's like the U.S. is the only one pretty much on the old
yeah,
style
on
imperial
imperial.
or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So
But so yeah, 13 kilograms.
yep.
Uses the NATO 76251 NATO ammo, military
Yes.
grade. And yeah, here I'll show you some clips as we start
Yeah.
talking about it here. But
Yep.
this one, well, actually, this is the wrong one here. Yeah, there we go. The shooting range first. It's it's still not my favorite. It does have recoil. You'll see as I'm shooting here, it does pull up quite a bit. So if you start down, it'll just it's not necessarily terrible to control, but I wasn't trying to control it too much.
Yeah.
as I was doing these tests. So
And
um,
it should be noted, this is a machine gun with the highest firing rate out of all of them.
yeah,
So it will shred someone if you're up close. And as you were saying, Doc, like with the recoil patterns and like in your clip, one thing I didn't get a chance to do this, but I kind of wanted to like take clips of the firing range and basically don't even use the right stick just to show how the recoil pattern goes. So if you aim in and like a lot of them now, they basically, like you said, they go down and up. It's just
yeah,
a matter of how much, um, because in the old kind of shooting recoil framework, the recoil pattern, someone would actually go up and to the left, or some would go almost sideways or up to the
right,
right type thing.
I
So
was
this is
struggling
very, very
controlling it.
manageable
Okay.
for all of them.
yeah. And then here's
So
the
here,
clip you using it in the field.
There
yeah.
you go.
So
A little
I
better.
was kind of running around looking after someone, and
I was
they kind
struggling
of popped out of
controlling
the
it
bush,
a little bit.
and he missed all his shots. And literally, I'm maybe 10, 15, 20 meters away. And as you can see,
There you go.
just
That's a little
absolutely
better.
Just
shredded him.
shreds. Yeah,
It is like I used 18 bullets, not even, and he was gone. So
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and with
his
these big clips, you can do a sometimes, or you can just let go and then just blanket an area with bullets if you're having a hard time.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know I've done
and
that a few
and
times.
and like for me, like not just this one, pretty much all the machine guns, and pretty much all the weapons, I kind of feather the trigger, so I use
Yeah,
bursts more than like the full auto. Um, but like this thing here, if I see someone in a lobby with the Maschinengewehr 3, I want to try to make sure that any encounters I have with this person are not close range, because what we just saw is it will literally shred you if you are up close.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
Um, no, we don't know when this one was introduced, so it's possible it was like one of the originals. When we could, we're trying to put down, when it came out, but we don't have the stats on this one for sure. But you only need table level 5 to build it. And it's like 7,800 materials and 20 minutes craft time. And the nice thing about this, like these stats are going to be the same for everybody because there's no way
yeah,
to lessen craft time or materials for weapons. So unless
yeah,
I guess the only thing you can do is spend crowns to shorten your craft time, but
yes, yeah, and
that's
and honestly, I've seen people throw out ideas for like shelter upgrades where it's like you could lessen crafting time or crafting costs and stuff like that. I
right.
honestly, I find that's a slippery slope, because people already complain that there's too many sweats and whatnot, and if
Hmm.
you make it easier to craft weapons like that, not just weapon parts I'm fine with, but like to reduce like crafting time and stuff like that on like top tier weapons. I don't know. I would not
Yeah,
be a
like if a
fan of that.
weapon
But
becomes the meta and then all of a sudden they can craft that weapon, instantaneously like you can with consumables, then it's just
yeah,
going to go crazy.
I don't think it would ever come down to like Instacraft for
No,
weapons, but it
no.
would decrease a certain percentage. But like I'm thinking, kind of like back when the Rafa initially came out, and it was just a common weapon, and I think it was like 20 seconds or something like that to craft a Raffica or something like that. It was something like very, very
Yeah,
short, and
it
it's
was
like
really short.
people were like crafting a ton of them, especially after the fact when they announced that the following update they're actually going to make it into military grade. Um, but anyways,
Yeah,
yeah, I would not be a fan of some kind of shelter upgrade like that, even though
no,
we all want an expansion on the shelter.
yeah. And with
So
all of these machine guns, they all are pretty much full auto, and then there's a few that have single fire as well. But this one
yeah,
strictly full auto.
yeah,
Next,
all the
oh yeah,
it's pretty much just the light machine guns, I believe, that have the single. Oh no, wait, sorry. M249
no,
is a light one, and it does not have single. Okay.
the M249 is that weird one that it's not heavy, but it's
It
also
looks so beefy.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next is the M60 just above, and like as mentioned, we're going from uncommon. So in Vigor and on the weapon screen, you're going up. So it seems like we're going up. So next is the
Worst to best.
M60 E3. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
So
uncommon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for
So
it. Go for it.
M60E3 is uncommon green one. Came out in season 7. You only need a crafting table of 4, and it's the same cost as the Maschinengewehr 3 7800. 20 minutes to craft it, and it has full auto, and it is a heavy machine gun. It weighs 11 kilos. Base damage is 43. Rate of fire is super slow. This is actually the slowest one out of all of them. So 550. The range is similar to the Maschinengewehr, where it's 853. Capacity, again, same exact thing. And it uses actually the same rounds.
Yeah, exact same
But
ammo.
this one here, I'm just not a fan of. I've never been a fan of because of that slow firing rate. You, especially because of the slow firing, you definitely need to hit your shots.
I found it
When
easier
you
to control. Like it does have the
okay,
recoil, but because it's not
mm-hmm.
firing so fast, it doesn't seem as bad, and so I found it a little bit
Yep.
easier to control. So I didn't mind it as much. Yeah.
I've just never been a fan, even when it first came out. Like it's like I've kind of like taken and all of them and made like my own rankings type thing. It's on the bottom tier, to be honest.
And this is like one of the newer ones too, because other than the one that
Yep.
came out this season, this is the last one to have come out, which was back in season 7.
Exactly. It's been quite some time.
So yeah, it's been a while since they've almost dope half the seasons. Yeah. But and we don't have any in encounter clips on this one. I did use it in encounters and try to get some kills with it, but I wasn't thinking of getting clips for most of them. I think I have like one clip out of all of these that was in encounter. Otherwise, I just got the shooting range ones.
That's all good.
Yeah. M60.
Yeah,
all right.
I just ran out of time on stream, and I think I took it out twice and I died both times early on, so I was not able to get some clips. But
yeah. Okay. Next, after the M60, is we go into the rares, and that's the ZA M72. This is, again, like I said, it's a rare. This one's been around a long time. Like season 1.1 looks like is when it was introduced. Table level 6 to craft it. And this is where all the blues seem to be in the 10,200 materials to craft. And still takes 20 minutes though. So they keep the crafting times for the blues and the greens the same. So 20 minutes. This one is not heavy, and it supports single and the full auto. So this is one of the ones where you can do a single shot. Base damage 37, rate of fire 620. So again, it's on the slower side. Like there's a lot that are higher than this, but still not too bad. Effective range of 745 meters. Capacity, now it's one of the smaller clips, not the smallest, but close. 41 rounds per clip, and weighs 7.7 kilos. And this is the 762 by 39 ammo. There's three rifles that use this ammo, or machine guns, I should say, not rifles, but rare grade ammo. This is the same ammo the AKM uses. Yeah. AKM Visa 58 all use this ammo. So it's a good one for upgrading. So if you go out with the AKM a lot and you find one of these, then it's a decent upgrade.
Yes.
We got a few clips on this one. So I'll bring up the shelter one. This one wasn't too bad. It's actually a decent machine gun. This would, I guess, be in the LMG. Now this is in you notice this clip. It's a weird firing thing that's happening where it seems like it's pulling to the side, but you look at the crosshairs, nothing's happening with the crosshairs, and it only happens in the shelter for some reason.
You I don't know. Should just report. Maybe they probably don't know about it, so it just needs to be reported.
Yeah, because I did use it, I never really paid much attention when I was using it in encounters, but I just happened to notice, oh yeah, my clip, it's like really pulling.
Yeah, the gun
But then we have a
sways.
couple clips. Yeah, we have a couple clips that DJ did here, and
Yeah.
when you'll see, it's not doing it in encounters, so it's just a weird animation glitch. Here I'll bring up the first one from DJ. And I think this one is on. Is this the Kirsten one? Let's see. Nope, this is the battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you'll
this one
see
here,
here.
I'm actually following my phone duel, and he actually ran into someone, and so they're fighting, and I third party. I get my phone duel, and then as the other guy's running away, I actually get him with the headshot.
Nice.
Chat. I can't believe we hit that.
So
and you're carrying around an M76 on your back there too.
Yes, I actually like just killed someone and picked that up because they were running a combat magnum with the 76. But
I had a situation like that too. I was running with a machine gun this week for these tests, and I just happened to kill somebody. They had an M76, and I had it. And then you came into my chat and said, "Hey, you're running an M76 as well?" I'm like, well, no, I just picked it off of somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like this one. Like, it's not one of my faves, but I'll definitely run it.
Yeah, no,
it
it's pretty tight. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. It doesn't like move around a lot. This is the one where you're in Kirsten.
Yes. So yeah, I was looking for someone around signals, I believe.
That's an AKM.
And then they were actually kind of behind me. They rotated, and then I just took the high ground on them, and all I saw was the head.
Oh my
and
god!
Poof! Got the headshot on him. So
yeah, and that's the thing, when you're lying down, it's so you're trying to give yourself a lower profile, but then the only thing exposed really is your head. So one bullet just hits you in the noggin and you're gone.
Yeah. He was just basically like peeking right to look uphill, and but yeah, this is one of those rifles or machine guns. If you like the AKM, you would probably like the ZA, because I find it pretty similar in the way it fires. So
yeah, and it's pretty controllable. Okay,
yes,
we'll click that off, and then we'll go on to the next one, which is
we are going to RPK. The rare RPK, the blue RPK. There's actually two RPKs, but this one is just a rare one. We'll talk about the RPK 74 later on. This one, crafting table level 7, same amount of materials as Doc said. All of the rare ones are 10,200 materials, 20 minutes to craft. This one also has single and full auto, and it's also not a heavy one, it's a light one. Your base damage is a 37. Rate of fire is 600, so it's a little slower than the ZA that we just saw. Effective range, pretty much the same thing, 745. The capacity, though, is 76, so it's a lot more. It has a bigger magazine than the other one, and it's a little lighter than the ZA at only 7 kilograms. And again, it uses the same ammo as the AKM. So this one here, it's still kind of manageable. Doc's going to put up his shooting range clip.
There we go. And it has the drum mag, so it's kind of I kind of like that it looks a little different because it has a drum mag. It does have a little bit of a pull to the top up, like a lot of them do.
Yeah. And I think this one too, it's one of those clips where like the recoil pattern, it goes further up compared to some of the other ones, but it is manageable. But I don't know what it is. Like between this one, like I find it very similar to the ZA that we just saw.
Yeah.
But I prefer by far the ZA over this RPK.
Sure.
Yeah,
it just the same ammo too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's just, I don't know, personal preference. I was not a big fan of this one.
I don't mind it. Yeah. And
It's
then we
it's
have
definitely
one.
yeah, it's definitely
with the-
inferior to the other RPK.
Yeah, and this is a clip from one of your clips.
Hit
Let's
signals.
see. Oh, you're on
Oh
battery.
yeah,
Okay,
on
still
battery.
battery.
So
He knows we're
yeah,
coming,
so
chat.
someone just hit signals, and I decide to rush it instead of just rotating, and
Oh,
kind
yeah, that
of
was
got lucky there.
Made
874K.
short work of him.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He popped out. I got him,
Hit signals.
but yeah, I
Not
think
your
I
favorite.
was super. Yeah, not my favorite. I was kind
He
of
knows we're
lucky on
coming,
that,
chat.
Yeah.
but
And I was running this one quite a bit. I took it out a few times,
Oh,
and I didn't
yeah,
mind
that
it.
was
I don't mind it
874K.
at all. But
yeah,
yeah, that there are others that I'd probably take over it for sure.
yeah,
Hit
and
signals.
some of the testing that I was trying to do is I kind of wanted to
He
get
knows we're
into
coming, chat.
medium range fights, just to see how it was, not just up close. And
Oh,
unfortunately,
yeah, that
just
was
before this
874K.
happened, this person had killed someone else that was in that medium range
That
from me.
range.
Hit signals.
So he kind
Right.
of stole my kill, but or I wanted to try to confront that other person.
He knows we're
But
coming,
But
chat.
then you killed
anyways,
him.
yes, I did. I got revenge.
You did. Yeah.
So
Okay. That's the RPK. Next is one that you took a lot of clips of. So we have quite a few clips on this one. It's the PKM.
yeah,
Again, this one's using the 762 by 54 ammo. But anyways,
yeah,
it's a rare again, uh, table level 6, and these ones, like these last couple and the next one, we don't know when they were introduced. 10,200 materials, 20 minutes craft time, only has full auto, doesn't have the option for single fire. This is a
mhm,
heavy, so go back to one of the heavy ones. Base damage 43, 650 range, so a little bit better than the last couple, the RPKs and the M72s. 825 effective range, so a little bit farther range on it. Has one of the larger clips, 101 capacity.
yeah,
There's quite a few within the hundreds, but there's only one bigger, and than the smaller capacity ones. 10 kilos, so it's in the heaviest range, or up there. Not the heaviest. The heaviest were
yeah,
the two greens, but it's up there.
yeah.
And like I said,
and
it's using the
and
762 by 54 military ammo.
and this does like the highest base damage, along with the M60E3 and the UK.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And then here's um, some footage from the shooting range, and you can see it does have a kick to it. It still pulls up a bit, but like even like on a, it doesn't have a single fire mode, but if you're quick with the trigger, you can fire off a single
yeah,
bullet at a time, like I was doing here, and
yeah,
you can still maintain pretty good control of it, like with
yeah,
a single fire or a quick little burst.
and that's key. What you just said right there
Yeah,
is it and it applies to every weapon, but like I find it, especially now with the machine guns, if you do that, uh, like the recoil kind of like resets pretty quick.
yeah.
So if you could master that, you essentially have that single fire capability.
Yeah, and all of these, we're showing these as in a crouched position. Really, if you can, if you're lying down, you'll get like no recoil with them, or very little recoil, and you'll maintain your control a lot better. But in most situations, when you're running around an encounter, you're most likely going to be in this crouched position as opposed
Crouch.
to
Yep.
lying down. Yeah.
Agree.
Um, then here we've got a couple of clips here,
Mhm.
direct from
Yeah.
Xbox from DJ.
Yeah.
This one takes a
So
little bit of
this
time
one,
to get to the payoff.
yeah. So this one here, I had ported someone, and I caught him going for the exit, and then uh, he was steps away from getting
Yeah,
out,
but it didn't take you
and
long. Like
unfortunately, I got him.
once you
No.
started loading in on it, you got him pretty quick.
Yeah. Uh, I felt bad because he actually had a decent amount of loot on him.
Oh no, he's trying to go. He just wanted to
Yeah.
leave. Oh, all of that
I
loot.
I was doing it for research, Doc.
I know. It's just Here's another one. It's in battery. This is one
Uh,
just says the airdrop is coming down.
Yeah, so this one here, I was heading for the drop, and I didn't have a port on me, but just to the right of the drop, I had actually seen him run from right to left, and then he went prone, but because the trees were in the way, I couldn't see him. But as I moved closer, I actually saw the body kind of prone on the ground and just destroyed him. And as you can see, like I actually did, like you mentioned, kind of burst, like small bursts of like about 5 bullets to just maintain my accuracy.
Right. This next one, where are you here? Oh, this looks like
Kirsten.
this is nope, sawmill.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Sugwork. Yeah. So this one here, I ported, and someone was kind of basically just down the street,
Heading
and
towards you. Yeah.
yeah, and then I just got him. I had headed that direction because I had heard firing, but I had to use a port because I didn't know exactly where he was, and the firing had stopped.
Yeah, but that was a good
yeah,
distance. That was a good medium distance. Like
yeah,
all of those were in a good medium distance range.
yeah, and that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Was when the goal was try to get clips of this kind of range just to show the range of machine guns. I didn't get into too many fights that were long range, like sniper range, unfortunately. But this was kind of like my target range when I was trying to run these kind of encounters.
Right. And then the last one here is a Twitch clip of yours. You had quite a few.
Oh, yeah. This one was on battery again. I had just killed someone, but because Bard House was at the
the
radio
wrong one
tower
again.
house.
No, this is the wrong one. This is the
No,
M249.
I need to heal.
no, this
Oh no, is it the
no,
PKM?
yeah, this PKM. So
Oh, they look very much alike. I
Yeah.
got messed up there. Sorry.
it's okay. So the Bard House is at the radio tower house. I had just killed someone up on the ridge, and then this person, I got pushed by one person, um, dealt with them, and then the other person rotated around them. So thankfully, I kind of like used a rock in a bush as
let's go,
cover
PKM.
to heal and whatnot.
And sprayed back and forth. Yeah.
But yes, but yeah, so we got them. I ended up getting threat this game, and it was kind of funny because this was the first encounter of the stream where like literally the first one warm up one, and I got threat with the PKM. So the PKM might not have the best stats, but I don't know, it does wonders for me, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you never know what gun's going to be the one that just works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a clip. There was a time when we were getting set up here. We had a clip that was mislabeled, and it was an M249, and I thought it happened again because you look at the clip. When I say clip, the magazine looks very similar to an M249 magazine, but then it's obviously not. And then when you see on the side of the in the bottom corner, it shows it's definitely a heavy machine gun.
It has the bipods. Yeah,
I need to heal.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the PKM. Next up is the KK62. This is the last of the rares. Still in the 10,200 20-minute range is all the same. Crafting table 8 to make it. Full auto, only supports full auto. Another heavy one. Base damage of 36, which is not the lowest, but it's down there. It is one of the lower ones. But it's the second fastest. It's the 1100 rate of fire. And this one, you know when you hear it, you'll hear it's like someone's like using a saw or something like that, a buzz saw. The way it just shreds. Effective range of 730. So look, it's like the lowest effective range, and it's kind of interesting. 101 capacity, 10 kilograms in weight, and it's using the 762 by 39 ammo, same as the M72 and the RPK, so the AKM ammo. And this one, Now, is it you're saying that this is the one? I guess last season was having a lot of issues with people using certain cheats to really take advantage of this gun. Is that right? We have to like say too
I
much
didn't
about it,
want to
but is this
comment
the
on
one?
this on I did not
Okay,
want to comment on this.
okay, but this
Um,
season it seems like what they've it has like next to no recoil.
yeah.
Like so, it's really odd. Like they'll probably be adjusting this. Here we'll just show the
Honestly, I think all of them, the machine guns are probably all going to get tweaked again. To be honest,
yeah,
but
but this one
uh,
is really effective. Like look at this.
yeah,
Yeah. No, a little bit farther out. Yeah, I guess it does say that the effective range is
yeah, and
less,
like when
but
you
still.
when you consider the effective range too, right? Like
Mhm.
honestly, if we label this as meters, like that's still 3/4 of a kilometer type thing, right? So
Yeah, yeah, true, true. And then we have a couple clips. Yeah, actually we got a few clips on this one. I have a clip. This is like the only one that I picked a clip off of um out of Xbox here. Let's close that off.
yeah,
And it's just I heard someone in this house. They were running through this house and I was beside it, so I just waited for them. And then he comes out and it's just he's gone. It's like
yeah,
there's no
absolutely
chance.
shredded.
Just
No,
shredded. Yeah.
and this is kind of like what I mentioned with the Maschinengewehr 3. If you see someone with like a KK or Maschinengewehr 3, you do not want to get close proximity like this.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you keep a distance because like so much about Vigor is whoever shoots first usually should get the kill type thing, and this is just another instance of exactly what you want to get the first shot off of. This is a clip on station. Um, I was running around and I heard someone coming uh, on the other side. I was on the other side of that little shed, so they
Yeah.
were a lot closer. So I heard them. I went around, and then they actually kind of crouched down, kind of in the little gully, and
Yeah.
literally I just headshotted them
And you can barely see him.
with the KK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy how good the KK is currently.
And then we have one
Uh,
clip that you took from Twitch here
oh, yeah. So
on
this is on
Anakin.
Anakin. Someone was kind of chasing me, and I was healing up. And as I'm healing up, they actually jumped onto the roof of
He's on the roof.
the building. So typically, I don't like
Oh my god.
doing that
Oh
where someone has the high ground on me. I had
Oh
nowhere
my
to
god.
go for cover, so I went up against the house, and they just
Yeah.
jumped off the house
Serpentine.
and landed right in front of me. And by the time they landed, they were dead. So
Yeah.
another example of how it just shreds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the KK. That's the KK-62.
yeah.
Next is we're going into the
Next is
rare or military
yeah.
grade, not rare. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
The UK VZ59, which is, as you mentioned, military grade, came out in season 4 with a crafting table of 11. So this one later on is when you could actually craft it. Materials, we're getting up there, 16,200, and it takes 2 hours now to craft these.
Yeah, we're
You have
getting
the
into the big
full
guns now.
auto. Yep, definitely. Full auto. That's it. There's no single fire. It's a heavy one. Base damage 43, so it's one of the higher ones. Rate of fire is kind of like in that mid ranges, upper range, 800. Effective range 830. The capacity is 51, which is actually kind of small for like one of the heavy ones. And then the weight is 9.5. Now, the ammo is the 7.62 by 54, which is military. It's purple. Um, yeah. So this one here, honestly, the UK, I would think is probably in my top 3. for the guns this season. It does a ton of damage. The rate of fire is very pretty good. The recoil is pretty manageable. And
crosshairs are pretty tight on it.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting about it is you could only use the iron sights once you're prone. So
yeah, and I think it's the same with a lot of the heavies. Like the ones that are heavy, I don't think you can use iron sights with them unless you're prone.
This is the only one I actually noticed, but I don't. Part of the issue is I don't actually go prone, and I don't use the iron sights.
yeah, very rarely.
Yeah.
And that's the range. We have a few clips on this one. Here's one of you and Anakin. Not Anakin. Belcanton.
Yes.
Late mode.
Yeah. So here, someone just has the high ground on me, and I'm just kind of like burst firing at them, and they rotated around by copter. So they're up by copter, and they rotated around. And when they rotated around, I just shredded them. Like I think I got them with a headshot, because I got one hit when they were in a bush initially, and then aside from that, I lost sight of them, right? Because they rotated around to the right. So, yeah, it was a good one. It was fun.
No, it was a good one. I like how you can tell when you got the headshot or the kill too, how everything goes red. And this one is on Anakin. This is the one that's on Anakin.
Yeah. So this one here, I was actually part of a third party, and this person was actually unfortunately trying to come get their kill, which I was actually trying to get that kill too. So as he was running towards, I just destroyed him, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the last one is a Twitch clip. Yep.
Yeah, like I could have waited till he was much closer, but as you can see, like the range is actually really good. Actually, no, this is an RPK
this
clip.
Is divert.
That's an RPK 74 clip.
Oh.
See,
okay, so we have a mistake with this. Or no, wait, I hit the wrong one. Oh, I think I might have hit the wrong one. Let's see here.
Oh, okay.
I thought I hit the right one, but I might not have. No, it's the same one. Okay, so
yeah,
interesting.
So it's an RPK 74 clip.
Yeah, that was an RPK 74. Okay, so we do have a UK. I think for some reason something got messed up on my tablet. That's okay.
All good.
We got them all.
But yeah, so what do you think of the UK, Doc?
I didn't use it a lot, but I did use it a bit, and it was fine. It was perfectly fine. Like I was doing the shooting range here, and yeah, like it's like it was not the fast. It's a good rate of fire. It's like 800, so it puts out a lot of bullets. It's manageable. You know, it, again, has a little bit of a pull up, but it was definitely, you know, it's a decent gun. I know I took it out and probably got a couple kills with it. But other than that, because it's a heavy, it's not going to be a go-to for me. Yeah, but it's definitely a good gun for sure. Okay, so next is now I think we're on to the RPK 74. Yeah.
Yep.
Where are we? RPK 74. Who talked about that last one? Was that me or you?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had the UK.
Okay.
Tell you.
So this one came out in season 6, so it's the third newest, I guess you could say. Needs crafting table of 12 to create. Again, 16,200, 2 hours to make. This one has a single fire mode. It's not heavy, so single and full auto. Base damage of 30, which puts this at it's the least amount of damage per bullet. Rate of fire 650, which is not the lowest, but it's it's down there because lowest would be 600. 960 effective range, which is really good. Might be the best. Yeah, I think almost the best, not quite. And it has a smaller clip, 46, but it's not too bad with this one. 5 kilograms, 545 by 39 rare ammo. So again, it's using that AKM ammo. And this one is probably one that I would take out more often.
No, this is not the AKM ammo.
Isn't this the AKM ammo?
No, this is the same as the A74K ammo.
Oh,
It is the
yeah, you're
blue
right.
one.
This is the
So
blue one.
it's it's the A74K ammo.
Yeah, I was looking at the 39. I totally missed the 545 was different. So this is the only machine gun that uses this ammo.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's this A74K ammo. Yeah. Which might be why I like it, because I do like my A74K. I do have some clips, of course. This is in the and this is the one that came out. Yeah, it came out in the Junker season, so it has some nice Junker skins, which doesn't hurt. But I was using this one today, earlier today too, and yeah, it's I like it. It's a really good gun.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, if you like the A74K, if you have not tried the RPK74, you are probably going to like it because it is a laser just like the A74K. The only issue I have with the RPK74 is bullet penetration. So the ammo, and this applies also to the A74K, is bullet penetration is not. I don't want to say consistent, but it's not there. Like it's not. You'll get the odd hit, but you will not get consistent penetration.
It is a smaller caliber
on wood wall. Yeah. So, but like AKM, you'll get some good bullet penetration. A74K, I don't think you do, or with the RPK 74 either.
Yeah.
So.
And then here's a clip from you on battery.
Yep. So here, I just heard someone rotating. They actually fought, and I third partied. Man, I third party a lot.
It's inevitable in this game, really. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna, especially in the smaller maps where you run into two people fighting. Yeah,
and I'm pretty much in the middle of the map at this point. But yeah, so I heard people car park, turned over, and just got him decent range.
And then this is the one that was you on the Verg.
Yes, and this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. If you look, he's the person standing behind the door, and I actually get one or maybe two hit markers when I'm shooting him behind the door.
Chat, this is why I don't. Oh god.
And I actually get.
Okay.
I'm explaining to chat that this is why I don't like the RPK-74, and the person rushed me, and I dodged, dipped, and dived, and popped up and got him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is exactly why the RPK is a laser.
Chat, this is
absolutely a beast. But if you're looking at like,
okay, I can't believe
being in like a building or whatnot, you got to be careful because bullet penetration is not there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay. Next is
the M249. Swoon. Like, whew, it's hot. This is probably my favorite. Military grade, came out in season 4 along with the UK VZ59. Crafting table of 12, 16,200 materials with 2 hours of crafting time. Has the full auto only. It's not a heavy machine gun, which, like, if you look at the diagram of it, it looks like it's going to be heavy, but it's not. It is 32 base damage, which it's on the lower end of the spectrum. The RPK 74 is the only one that's lower than it. Firing rate 850. It's really good. It's like the third highest out of all the machine guns. Effective range 925, so it's got a good range to it. One of the higher ones. The capacity is by far the largest, 201, which is absolutely insane because like I'm assuming these are all like based off of real life weapons.
Yep.
But it's like I'll go in and I'll like stack up with ammo in the loadout, and it's like it's already stored into your weapon,
Yep.
right? So it's like you could bring a ton of ammo. Uh, and weight wise, 7.1 is how much it weighs.
Yeah.
Now this the M249, if you were running machine guns before this season, odds are this was the one you were running, because this has been a dominant machine gun, and like if it was not considered part of the meta, it was pretty close to being part of the meta, because of how good it was. Because the recoil was always manageable and pretty easy to learn. So it was always a favorite of mine for like, I don't know how many seasons. It seems like 5 seasons, if not more. But definitely love it.
Yeah.
Before and now.
Yeah, and this is one of the ones that's in that same ammo tree as the M16. What's it called? The
ES16 and the
ES16,
H bar and
H bar,
A1,
bugle.
L85.
Yeah, they're all using the same ammo. So you have so much.
Yeah.
You start with like the M16 or the ES16, and then any of these guns you can pick up if you find it, and then just go. But yeah, like with most weapons, when I go out, I usually like to take at least maybe 2 clips worth of ammo with me. This weapon, it's like I can't take that much ammo.
Yeah.
I have like a second clip of ammo, so it's you
Oh,
take a
yeah.
little bit of extra.
Like this one here, it's like, well, actually most machine guns, I was running like 300 rounds. Like I was bringing in like a ton, because I like a lot of them I didn't use typically, right? M249, like I knew typically I'd bring in like 320, I think it was.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones, it's like I'd bring in about the same thing and I'd run out. But
Usually bringing in about 200 rounds, and yeah, there was times where I ran out just having a little over 200.
mhm.
So yeah, you go through ammo fast with these guns for sure.
Yep.
And then we have a couple of Twitch clips as well that you provided. I didn't have any clips myself, but we got a couple here.
Oh, actually,
I
this one
broke.
was a UK clip.
Oh, this is so they got mixed up somehow. Got a couple mixed
Yeah.
up. Sorry, guys. So this is that
It's
UK
okay.
clip we didn't get to show you before.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So someone was running between the houses, and yeah, he kind of went. I think he saw me and he went towards the bush, and I just got lucky. I think it was a headshot.
Oh my God.
I should have paid more attention when I was
But
putting these clips in.
yeah,
This
that's
one
okay.
might be the M249 then. Let's hope.
Where are you going?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
This
right
is M249. So this one here, I was kind of following someone. I thought they actually saw me and they were going to run around, but they only turned around once
Oh, he's right there.
I started shooting at him. And yeah, it's a good range. Like I said, honestly, it might as well be an assault rifle because of how good
Where
it
are you
is
going?
and how accurate.
Oh, he's right
Yeah,
there.
pretty much. And then yeah, that's the M249. And then last but not least, we have the new L86 A1 LSW. Unfortunately, it was hard to use this one because I don't have the battle pass yet. I haven't earned any. I did find one in a lock container, so I was able to get it back to my shelter. And I have a couple of clips of using it on shooting challenges because I took it out into an encounter, forgot to get insurance, and lost it. So I didn't get a lot of practice with it, unfortunately. But anyways, it's a special issue. It's the only special issue. It's the first one out now that came out this season. Crafting table level 13, so you got to be all the way up there. 32,000 materials, and it takes a full day to craft. So
Yeah.
buckle in if you're planning on crafting it. Single fire. It has single fire and full auto. It's essentially the L85, just with a few little tweaks. Longer barrel. Um, Even the effective range isn't that much different. 650 rate of fire, 970 effective range. Same clip, 31 clip capacity. So it's actually the smallest clip out of all of the machine guns.
Yeah.
7.7 kilograms. So in the middle. Well, not necessarily the middle, but I guess it's at the higher of the lighter ones. Using the same ammo as the M249 and that whole tree of guns in the L85, so the 556 by 45 NATO. And it's basically the L85.
Just and this is the only machine gun with a scope on it.
Yeah.
Everything else has
with the
an
proper
iron
kind
sight.
of scope or good sight. Everything else is iron sights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really use any of them in our clips here either. I've always used just the third person shooting. So, but in the a couple of clips I took, it's very accurate. It's just point and shoot.
Yeah. Doc is the more experienced person with this, because I think the only time I actually got to touch it was in a match of eliminations, and I think I died right off the bat, so I didn't even get to shoot it. So
at least getting it back to my shelter. Yeah. I was able to unlock the challenges, so even though I lost the only one I had, I can still do the challenges whenever I want now. So I was able to get a couple clips of challenges. This one, if I would have done it properly, I would have been lying down. I would have been using the scope, because those are pretty far away, those dummies. But even not doing that, it's a small clip, but it didn't take too long to get them at that range.
But cause honestly, it just seems like a little beefier L85. So honestly, why would you bring in the L85 now when you have an L86? If you have it, I should say.
That's basically it, because I have a bunch of L85s. I have no L86s. So. And even once you get to the point where you unlock them, it's not like you're going to build them, because they take a day. So until you get a stockpile of them, getting them out of containers or whatever, or out of crates, because eventually they'll start showing up in gold crates, I'm sure, like in your charity crates and stuff. Then you might start seeing them a bit more.
Yeah, or get the weapon parts. I still have not gotten enough.
I haven't seen any weapon parts for it yet.
I believe I got some weapon parts out of the cache that was boosted. So, actually, I think I had talked to you about it, but I think it was a single or a double boosted resource lobby. I found a ton of special issue parts in the cache slot for like pretty much any like special issue item. There was parts in it, so it was probably like a good 6 or 7 different like consumable or weapon parts in there. It was insane. I took a screenshot because it was absolutely amazing. Blew my mind.
I found it was probably boosted as well, but I've gotten like special issue parts out of the cache quite a few times, and that's how I've gotten enough parts that I was able to make a radiation grenade. So the only radiation grenade I've gotten my hands on now is one that I made out of parts, and it took like 3 tries, because each time I would get 2 parts out of a cache spot, and I think it might have been a boosted cache spot, because it wasn't there. There's quite often where I got no parts. So but I've seen more grenade parts than I have L86 parts so far. I haven't gotten any of them yet.
But I have not yet really tried it. Like I said, I'm kind of excited to try it, because like at one point I don't remember who I was watching, but I was like, this almost looks like the old H-bar, the way it kind of behaved and whatnot. But I actually need to like get a hold of it and actually try it out. Like you said, maybe I don't do it often. I don't get insurance for weapons. I'll usually get it if it's like boosted lobbies or whatnot. But maybe I'll start using some insurance just to try to get a few more encounters in with the L86.
Yeah, because that was I got that one out of the container. I brought it in once and I had insurance. The second time I went out with it, I realized, oh, crud, I don't have insurance. I don't want to lose it. And so I wasn't too far away from where I started. But it just happened to be it was a game that that guy Brian Evans was in. And I was sort of running. I used signals. I saw where some people were. I said, okay, I'm getting out of here. I was heading my way out, and he came and sniped me, or not sniped me, but got me. And then, but somebody who just after I had left Signals, apparently it took camp up at Signals, and just after he killed me, they killed him, and so my gun laid out there. No one got it. Probably rusting.
Sad.
So, yeah, resting in the rain now with my corpse.
Terrible loss.
Yeah, so I lost the only one I got. But like I said, I unlocked the challenges, so I was at least able to do those.
Yep, definitely cool. I
Yeah,
have not
so
had that opportunity. So, anyways, I look forward to it.
yeah, so that's the machine guns. So
Yep.
you can see all of them, even the worst ones, are viable now. You know, I'm still not going to take the worst ones, but you know, if I picked one up while I was out there, if somebody else had it, or I picked one up out of a cache, or not cache, but like a weapon box or a POI, I have no problem using them because they're all good now. Yeah.
Yeah, this I hate using the word meta, but like honestly, like this season the meta is kind of machine guns. Like
Yep.
not one in particular, but I don't know how I feel about like I think it's a good thing that the usability of all of them like went up. I just don't know if it's a good thing that all of them went up by so much.
By so much.
Because
yeah, we'll
like
have to
I
see.
think because I'm curious because like season 2 has been or season 12 I should say has been
Yep.
out for like 2 weeks now roughly and like at most I've seen 3 machine guns in a lobby. So it you would think by now it's like people would say okay like machine guns are like super strong. I'm running a machine gun, right?
Yep.
But it hasn't been quite the case. So I'm kind of curious as to why that's not the case. Because like I remember back when like before what was it season 8 or whatever up until when the SG1 H bar meta stopped,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? Everyone was you go into a lobby and like at least 75% of people were running those meta guns. We haven't seen that yet. So
No.
I'm kind of curious to see if that trend will continue to increase or not. But yeah, I don't know, and like I have some issues with like I always want Vigor to be as realistic as possible, and it just seems like the accuracy of the machine guns, even standing, is a little I don't think it's as realistic as it should be, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because like you talked about it, like you go to the shooting range and you try it out, you you know most of the time you're going to be crouched, but it's like in all honesty, these are some of these are super heavy machine guns. Are you going to be walking around the outlands with a heavy machine gun and not have any kind of like sway or like crosshairs are going to be like kind of tight? So I don't I think I would like to see it tweaked where either the crosshairs are not as tight, like in all instances, like even standing, prone, crouch, like all of them.
They almost need to bring in
But
the crosshair bloom, the one that we were getting rid of on
yeah,
the old guns, like where they shouldn't have
yes,
had so much crosshair bloom. These guns
yeah,
should have the crosshair bloom. Really.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, like maybe stamina is affected even more than what it currently is. for some of them.
Yeah. So as you start firing them, your stamina goes down quicker. Like even like normally you're like holding your breath kind of thing, and your stamina goes down. These ones,
Yeah,
maybe just using them, your stamina
yeah.
should be going down.
Shooting,
And
running,
yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
Because like really, like even when I've had like my loadout and my inventory filled with loot, my stamina is still like maybe like 70%, 75%. Like maybe that
Yeah.
needs to be drastically brought down even more. But I don't know. I'm not. These are not my decisions. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they're just a little too strong. Like I said, I'm glad the viability of them are there, and it's like I don't want people to complain that they're too strong. It's like I'm sorry, but you probably have them in your inventory yourself. Nothing stops you from bringing out these weapons.
I was just
So
thinking. Really, these are the kind of weapons you would see people like Arnie using, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the old like
mm,
commandos
yeah,
and like the really big, beefy, strong, like
yeah,
muscle guys in those old action movies. They'll be using these kind of guns and brr, 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 right, and everything's like
yeah.
that's the kind of guy. So now I'm thinking we need a new consumable. Instead of caffeine for running,
Like
we need like
steroid.
steroids. Yeah, steroids so you can hold on to an M249 or a UK59
Yeah,
and
running
control it
around the
better.
outlands.
Yeah,
There you go.
running around with steroids.
Consumable
I think
idea.
that's what we need.
Uh, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's funny because in our season 12 podcast episode, it's like I honestly thought, and we spent quite a bit of time talking about radiation grenades, because I really thought it was going to be a hot topic, and it's like it was just kind of like a passing notice that we said, oh yeah, like machine guns got like a little buff or whatever, and like
Yeah,
I think we spent like 10 seconds on it, and now it's like we're doing a whole episode on machine guns now. So
yeah,
it is kind of funny.
yeah.
Um,
Well, it was worth talking about. I know I had this thought before, like, well, now we should start looking at categories of weapons. And it
yeah,
just happened to be that now that they've done this to the machine guns and made this huge meta change with them, that it's a good time to do it. Good time to talk about it.
yeah,
I played a lot today. Like I was playing earlier today, trying to get my challenges done, and also trying to get my hands on another L86. I didn't, but I was running around today a lot with the RPK
yeah,
74, and there were it really varied in the lobbies. Like there was a couple lobbies where, oh yeah, there's quite a few machine guns in here. Like I saw a couple of RPKs, I saw some KKs and a little bit of everything out there. But then there's quite a few lobbies where I was the only one with a machine gun, and then everyone else
yeah,
had your standards, assault rifles and whatnot. So
yeah.
it yeah.
It yeah, I'm curious as to like the trend,
Hmm.
if it will increase or whatnot, because it also like when we talk about the trends, like we talked a lot about like radiation grenades. How is it going to be like? Are people just going to spam the map? I honestly don't think so because it's going to ruin the game, or not ruin the game, but it's going to ruin the encounters for
Right.
or
Yeah.
portions of the map for like so many people. I don't think it's going to tend that way, and
No.
that's why I have a feeling that machine guns might be the same thing, where not everyone wants to just face off against all machine guns, and that's why we're not going to see a ton of them.
Right.
I'm curious as to if that's going to be the case or not.
Well,
But
as more and more
oh,
people see how effective they are, and I guess it all depends. Like, there's still a lot of variance in the lobbies, right? You get a lot of experienced people, but you also
mhm,
get a lot of new people, and so yeah, the
yeah,
new people aren't going to have the machine guns, so it's going to be a while before they start using them. And so, as long as there's still that mixture out there, we'll still see, lots of lobbies where maybe at most you might see half the people with a machine gun, but I don't think it's ever going to get
yeah, yeah.
that much. But you never know.
Are kind of curious. Are you interested in ranking them? Because I kind of like
Ranking them?
jotted down some notes. Yeah.
Did you? Sure.
What would you What would be your
now some of this
fave?
is going to be a bit tough. Like I'll go with I'll do what I think is so far for me.
Yeah, yeah. This is all personal preference, folks. Like
Oh yeah,
we,
this is all personal
any
preference.
weapon in big, yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Yeah,
who knows? People might come and yell at us, but it's like personal preference. Like,
yeah, and it's and some of this because the L86, I didn't get a lot of time with it, so
yeah.
it's
So
probably going to be in my mid range on that one
yeah. So
right
so for
now.
me, I actually omit the
You admit
L86
it?
because
You haven't used
I'm
it.
not including it in the ranking.
Yeah.
I would like to actually get some games in and not just a couple. I would like to get, like, let's say like 10, 20 games at least to say,
Hmm.
where I would rank it. Now, off the top of my head, it's probably going to be in the upper half, but uh,
Yeah.
I'm not going to include it.
For me, right now, I'm leaning towards the RPK 74 as part of being my favorite. It's one I've taken
Yeah.
out the most, and I've done really well with it. But like right close to it, the M249's up there. So like RPK M249, um, the regular RPK I still like. I know you're not fan of it, but I still really like it.
No.
And the M72, those two would probably be like really close. Um, the PKM, I didn't do a lot with the PKM. I don't know. I wasn't feeling the PKM as much.
Mhm.
The KK62 would be a little bit higher than the PKM for me, just because I like the sound of it. I like that little. It's like the
Yeah.
MGV. I really like the
Yeah, it
MGV because
does.
it's like a
Yeah.
little shredder, and so there
Yeah.
the KK is the machine gun shredder. So
Yep.
the UK VZ59 is probably down on the lower tier, and then yeah, the uncommons would be my two lower ones, like the bottoms, the M60 and the Maschinengewehr. Um, the M60 for me is a little higher than the Maschinengewehr. And then the L86, like I said, right now for me, because I did get to play a little bit with it, it's in the middle because I didn't really get a good feel for it. But if it's anything like the L85, it'd probably creep up a lot pretty quick.
Okay. It's not bad. I'm not gonna lie. We differ on a few of those, but
Oh, I bet we do.
it's
Yeah.
still cool. I like hearing people's opinions about
Yeah.
weapons and whatnot. Uh, so if I go number one on my list, M249 still it's the king. It was a king before. It's still the king in my opinion. I think the gap closed quite a bit uh, from the first spot to the second spot,
Yeah.
which yeah, M249, like, it's not overweight, accurate, manageable, wall penetration. These are all kind of factors that weighed into like all the decisions. So M249 does it all. It is fantastic. Number one spot. Second spot, shockingly, I'm not a fan of overweight machine guns, but this one here is just too good. The UK VZ59. The only downfall, the weight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Other than that, it is really good. Does a ton of damage. Um, and the firing rate's pretty good. So that takes up number two spot. Number three is where it gets really hard for me.
Mhm.
Uh, I put the KK ahead of the RPK 74. Um, for me, KK, the firing rate, um, the wall penetration, it's overweight, but I'm overlooking that, and it just shreds.
Yeah.
Um, that's why I gave it uh, a slight edge over the RPK 74, which comes in at my fourth spot. We already talked about it earlier. For me, it's the wall penetration. Other than that, the RPK is fabulous,
Yeah.
absolutely fabulous. And like I said, if you like the A74K, boom, you're gonna love the RPK 74.
Yeah. To me, it's
After
almost
that,
like an assault rifle. Like it's like on the
it
lower end of a machine gun. It feels more like an
yeah,
assault rifle.
and it looks the part too, right? Because
Yeah.
the only difference, if you look at the image for it, it basically has bipods and that's it.
Yeah, because it has a
So
longer barrel. Yeah.
yeah. After this, uh, I kind of went with the Maschinengewehr 3, uh,
It's fine.
which I'm not the biggest fan of it, but the firing rate, it's manageable. Um, it just deals a ton of damage too. Like this is another one too that it'll shred. So
Yeah.
that's why it's there. Um, After that, we got the PKM. I know I did really well with the PKM. I'm sure people are surprised that it's not higher on the list for me. Uh, but for me, it's the issue is the slow firing rate. So you need to hit your shots. Um, so it's not quite there. After that, we got the ZA M72, followed by the RPK, and dead last M60E3, which is honestly the dog's breakfast for me. The slow firing rate, it's like no overweight. I just not a fan. But anyways, that's mine. And like I said, L86 is not there. I'm sure once I actually get you to use it, it's going to be in the top 5. But
Yeah.
that's how I would rank it.
Yeah. The only disadvantage to it is the small clip, because
Yeah.
when we get to these higher fire rates and you have a little clip like that, it's empty so quickly, right?
Yeah. I have a feeling it's like I'm going to use it almost like the L85. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, it's like, okay, I'll take the small clip, I guess.
Yeah. If we were on the ball, we would have had our rankings up earlier, and we could have actually put them up, like your rankings, my
Yeah.
rankings. We're not on
Oh,
the ball,
yeah.
guys.
Maybe next time. Next
Maybe
episode
next
we do
time.
like
Yeah, we'll
this.
try to do that. Yeah,
We'll
the
do
next time
that.
we do a category one, we'll do that. We'll come up with our rankings for those ones, because at least those ones will be a lot more established,
Oh my god.
and it'll be easier for us to come up with those rankings.
What if we do, how there's like all those like ranking tool websites where it's like you have all the columns or the rows
Yeah, yeah,
and then you place your things. What if we do that live? Or
yeah,
not live, but like on stream? It's like, this is what I do.
yeah. That'd be
No,
interesting,
we'll
actually.
just we'll
Yeah,
take the picture and then we'll just do it ourselves. But
yeah,
anyways, yeah, we should do that.
yeah. We should absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's probably a good place for us to stop.
Yep.
So that's us going over machine guns. Thanks for listening. We do appreciate you hanging out with us, and yeah, like usual, please again like, share, subscribe. We do appreciate it, and we're getting a bit more exposure out there now. So hopefully,
Yep.
if you're new to the pod, welcome, and come check us out on Twitch. We both stream several days a week. Used to be
Yep.
more often, but work's been making us busy, so it makes cuts into something, right? A little bit
Yep.
of our streaming time, unfortunately.
Coming into the more new normal type thing, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. But until next time, I'm Dr. Anton,
and I'm DJ Spencer.
and stay safe in the Outlands. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
I've heard you say you lost your way again. You don't see your end. up you.